Christmas in July came early for the Phils this year. The first present delivered yesterday by the umpire allowed Cody to deliver a game-tying shot into the Wrigley Field ivy. The only person delivering more than Santa recently is Jeff Francoeur, who gave the biggest gift of all, and like most holidays, it was celebrated with family. So many things to do around the ballpark here in Chicago, like stopping by the sweet swinging Billy Williams statue. There are a number of statues you can stop by to see. You can also get some merchandise outside the yard, stop and get a cold beverage. It's the Phillies and the Cubs. It's Game 2. For over 100 years, they've been welcoming folks to beautiful Wrigley Field for day baseball. And that's exactly what we have in store for you this afternoon. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy, joined by Matt Stairs. We get set for another game for the Phils after another late-inning victory for the Phils. 10 innings yesterday, they get the win. And today, one of the biggest question marks for the Phillies, not only because of his performance on the field recently, but also because of the trade deadline, which is right around the corner. Cole Hamels will take the baseball, and the Phils are hoping he gets back on track.
Well, it's kind of weird that you say hoping he gets back on track. You usually don't see this out of Cole Hamels. Last two outings haven't been very good. You can see the graphic right here. 9 starts, 0-4 with a 5.06 ERA. Now, I will say, out of those 9 starts, he possibly could have had 5 wins. He threw 3 games where he gave up 2 runs, 2 games where he threw up the goose eggs. Lack of run support, but when he has been bad, he has been bad. And when he's been good, he's been very good.
All right, on the flip side, Jake Arrieta has been one of those stories that not many people know about. It's been an unbelievably sound year, a career-high 11 victories.
Well, he's got an unbelievable curveball, and that's his out pitch. It's a strikeout pitch. The key for him this year is that he's being able to throw the slider, the changeup, and the fastball when he needs to for strikes. Last year he had a hard time throwing strikes. This year he is pounding the strike zone. You can see the graphic right here. The last 6 starts, 46 in 2/3 inning, only 24 hits. So one, he's not throwing the ball down the middle. He's hitting the corners. But the key right there is no home runs allowed, which means he can be able to throw the fastball by you. It's well above 94, 95 miles an hour. Very good curveball, slider, and change. So the boys, you need to jump all over the fastball tonight.
Yeah, we'll talk about where he ranks among National League pitchers during the telecast today. It's a rather impressive resume for Jake Arrieta. It's game number 2 of this 3-game series. Yesterday it was Cody Asche who provided a huge boost with 3 RBIs. He capitalized on opportunities. He's back in there today. We'll get to the lineups when we return. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Citizens Bank. One deposit checking. Keeping things simple is helping you bank better. By Toyota. Where will Toyota take you? Visit buyattoyota.com to find out. Toyota, let's go places. By Xfinity, the official entertainment provider of the Philadelphia Phillies. By Budweiser, still brewed the hard way. This Bud's for you. And by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Learn more at IBX.com. Chicago Cubs. Jake Arrieta and the rest of the Cubs have taken the field. All the pregame festivities are complete, and we're ready for a little baseball. Let's take a look at the Phillies lineup. It's brought to you by Xfinity, the official entertainment provider of the Philadelphia Phillies. It'll be Cesar Hernandez leading it off again at second base. Then Odubel Herrera playing center field. Michael Franco bats third, plays third. Ryan Howard back in the lineup hitting cleanup in first base. Carlos Ruiz does the catching. Cody Ashes in left field batting sixth. And the bottom third of Galvis, Brown, and yes, Cole Hamels, who possibly is making his final start in a Phillies uniform. Only time will tell, as Jake Arrieta will be making his 20th start. He's going nowhere for the Cubs. 11-5, a 2.52 earned run average. That's ninth best in the National League. He's only allowed 8 home runs, but has not allowed a home run in quite some time. And the Budweiser scouting report, Matt, on Jake Arrieta.
Very good 4 pitches. He'll average about 94.4 on his fastball. 19 starts this year, 15 quality starts. Only 4 times has the opponent scored 4 runs or less, or 4 runs against him. And how about these numbers? Changeup, the league is hitting 118. Curveball, $111. Slider, 206. And now they're raking his fastball at 277 apparently. So all his pitches are working very well right now. Well, time for the Nissan keys to the game. And first, for me, most important is Cole Hamels use the cutter more, makes the changeup even better. And Arrieta attack the fastball. You do not want to get to 2 strikes with that curveball or the slider, because that is his strikeout pitch.
Well, here's the first pitch of the game. Cesar Hernandez leads it off. It's a fastball in there, so we're underway. 95 miles an hour on that fastball right at the knees. Cesar 274 with a home run and 23 RBIs. He had 2 hits yesterday, and he chops one back towards shortstop. Castro right around the bag. Oh, he waited too long. He nearly beat that one. Cesar's wondering if he got across the bag before the throw. Here comes Pete Mackanin. Cesar immediately pointed toward the dugout. That was an awfully close play, and it shouldn't have been that close. Well, I thought he beat it for a moment, but Pete Mackanin goes down the stairs, and it's going to be 6-3 on the putout.
Well, one thing about Cesar, if you sleep it all on his defense, he's going to make it very close at first base. We'll see right here. Ball goes in the glove right there.
I guess by a half step they got him.
Would have been interesting to see if Cesar would have stepped in front of the bag instead on top of the bag.
I know we've talked about that with Cesar and a couple other guys about, striding toward the base. Here's Odubel. He was 0 for 1 as a pinch hitter yesterday. Swings at the first pitch, and it's 0-1. Odubel hitting 274. He has a rookie leading 20 doubles on the year with 2 triples. Breaking ball. Well, we've heard a lot about the curveball from Arrieta. Last year it was about the slider. Well, whatever he's doing, his secondary pitches are extremely good. No balls and 2 strikes to Herrera. Fastball up and in, 1-2. The Lucky McDonald's Phillies home run jackpot contestant is Matt Moore of Wyomissing. Phillies hit home run in today's ball game. Then Matt will win $100. One ball and 2 strikes, and now time is called. Herrera waited as long as he possibly could. Home plate umpire is the veteran Phil Cuzzy. Jerry Davis, the crew chief, at first. Will Little is at second. Tony Randazzo around at third. Outside, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. This evolution of Jake Arrieta was expected when he was with the Baltimore Orioles. Orioles expected that he would be this good for them much sooner. They may have rushed him a little bit. That's a tad inside, 3-2. But they wound up trading him, I don't want to say for peanuts, but they wound up trading him here to the Cubs, and what they got was Steve Clevenger and Scott Feldman. Joe Maddon inherited Jake Arrieta, and he's darn happy that he did. Fouled away, and it remains 3-2. Last year he won 10 games. He was injured in the early part of the season. Won 10 games in 25 starts. Averaged over a strikeout per inning pitched. He credited the slider a season ago because he threw it 29% of the time. He had only thrown it 14%. Chris Bosio said, man, you got to get that more involved in the count. Well, he just got Odubel Herrera awkwardly on a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. They're 2 outs. Well, look at these comparisons, Matt, between Baltimore and the Cubs. I mean, 20 and 25 with Baltimore, but the ERA almost 3 runs higher with the Orioles compared to the Cubs.
Well, I mean, he's getting to a place where he's feeling comfortable. He's figuring out what kind of pitcher he is. He's a power pitcher, as we just saw with a 97-mile-an-hour fastball with very good movement.
Maikel Franco's the batter. He takes up high.
Now, I will say, though, his slider is more of a true cutter. You know, slider, you're usually going about 7 or 8 miles less than your fastball. He's throwing his cutter at 92 miles an hour.
Well, there it is right there.
The scoreboard had 90 on a slider, and then he threw a pitch earlier. See right here, starts inner half and doesn't move much. It's just what you call the bet misser.
Yep, you are right. Franco slams one out towards center field over the head of Fowler, and it's going to one-hop off the ivy, and it's just going to drop at the base of the brick wall. So a 2-out double for Maikel Franco. Well, that's a good sign. That ends an 0 for 6 stretch for him, and that's his 15th double of the year.
Well, it's a high fastball out of the strike zone. Does a nice job getting hands on top of the barrel. We mentioned yesterday how shallow Fowler plays in center field. Nice swing right there. Nice to see him go back up the middle on a base hit.
Yeah.
I think he's been getting a little pull happy lately, as we talked about yesterday, Tom.
And that'll bring Howard to the plate for a chance to give the Phillies an early lead. Now, with a runner at second base, the overshift on the right side is a little lighter for Ryan Howard. It's not as deep, so that usually benefits him. Takes outside, 1-0. Matt, that is the 164th double of the year for the Phillies. I bring that up because they have gradually started climbing the charts in not only extra base hits, but in the category of doubles and triples. For a good portion of the year, the Phillies were down toward the bottom of the National League in extra base hits overall and in those 2 categories. Now, they're still down toward the bottom with home runs, but they now have 164 doubles, which is 6th in the National League. They have 20 triples, which is 5th in the National League. Two and 0 to Howard. And Howard rolls one over to second base. Threw him a curveball, and the putout goes 4-3, and the side is retired. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 man left. Middle of the first, it's the Phillies 0. Cole Hamels going to work against the Cubs. Yesterday's game. It's brought to you by Xfinity, the official entertainment provider of the Philadelphia Phillies. Fowler, Bryant, and Rizzo, followed by Soler. Denorfia and Castro, the shortstop. The bottom third of David Ross, Jake Arrieta, and Addison Russell. And they will face left-hander Cole Hamels. Hamels on the year 5-7. An ERA just a hair under 4, which is so obscure for Cole Hamels at this juncture of the season. But he's allowed a lot of base runners, and he's allowed his share of home runs so far this season.
Well, he has, and he's coming off 2 very bad outings. And you mentioned not throwing enough strikes. Budweiser's guttering port. He's 3-1 versus a Cub, 2.40 ERA. Legs hitting $1.95 versus his changeup, $1.27 versus a curveball. 12 quality starts, and the number I would like to see him get down this year at this outing, he's averaging just over like 16.5 pitches per inning, which doesn't allow him to get very deep into games anymore.
The first batter he'll face is Dexter Fowler, and he delivers a fastball high. Over the years, a lot of that has been due to Hamels allowing a lot of foul balls. Now, those foul balls have really picked up in recent starts. Two balls, no strikes to Fowler. Fowler hitting .236 on the year, 8 homers. Well, velocity's good today. 3 straight fastballs in the area of 94 miles an hour. He usually dictates that health is not an issue, and it's not. Change up low. And there's ball 4. So Fowler draws a walk. During the 2015 season, Turkey Hill, the official ice cream of the Phillies, will contribute $100 for each Phillies victory and 5 cents for each carton of Phillies Grand Slam ice cream, sold to support the Phillies youth baseball and softball programs. This is seemingly where Hamels has run into trouble too. He's been concentrating on the base runner a little bit. It seems like he's changed his mechanics at times. As Bryant lifts one in the air to left center field. Ashe says he has it, and he comes running in. The wind is blowing in this afternoon. The faithful here in Chicago thought that had a chance to get out off the bat.
It's kind of different than yesterday. Yesterday the wind's blowing out. Today blowing in from right center. Which to me, if I was a pitcher, which I'm not, if I was smart, which I'm not real smart, I would say I would pitch right-handers away and make them hit it into the jaws of the wind in right field.
Yeah, I think that did have an effect on that fly ball right there.
Knocked it down.
Anthony Rizzo's the batter. Rizzo 1 for 4 yesterday. He was hit by a pitch. Takes outside. By the way, that walk for Hamels was only the 4th leadoff walk in any inning this year. Rizzo has 16 home runs, 51 RBIs. One of those players that plays every day.
That's impressive, though. It's only the 4th walk for leading off an inning.
Yeah, considering his struggles over the last couple starts, I think it tells you he's been hit. I mean, we've shown the numbers, and you've read about the numbers. 14 earned runs in his last 6 1/3. That's 2 starts. That's an ERA of 19.89. Ground ball to second base. This could be 2. Hernandez, he had trouble getting out of his glove. So they won't be able to turn 2. 4-6 on the putout at second base. They do get the lead runner. And a fielder's choice.
See, maybe, he just got bobbing a little bit, kind of turned a little bit, tried a little quick to get the ball in the hand. Plus the ball wasn't hit extremely hard on the ground.
Well, that'll bring up the largest human being on the field today.
They're going to check that. Too late. They can't now.
Yeah, he's already in the box, and Hamels is on the rubber, so there's nothing they can do about it.
I think they wanted to check about to see if Freddie Galvis was on the bag when he caught the ball.
Yeah, and there is no neighborhood play anymore. They can check on that, but it's too late. All right, so Madden's going to go out and talk to Will Little, the second base umpire. It's not reviewable, as we mentioned, because the pitcher was on the rubber. Oh my goodness, he's nowhere near the second base bag. I totally missed that. I mean, he's nowhere near the second base bag. Yeah, Hemmels was on the rubber and the batter was in the box, so they can't review it, and that is a huge break for the Phillies. Matt, I don't know if it was our depth perception or what, but I didn't even see that.
I wasn't looking. I was watching the first base to see how Rizzo was running down the line.
Wow. Well, so Soler is the batter, 261 with 5 homers and 26 RBIs. And he lines one just foul. Bullpen doesn't move. Watch it again. Here's how quick it is. Yeah, I'm not even sure if the umpire at second, Will Little, had the angle. He was in front of the bag, which is kind of the way we're looking. Runner goes, pitches high, throw to second base is not in time. Stolen base number 14. For a big man, he does move.
Well, for a big man, I think a lot of people sleep on him. You know, they don't worry about him trying to steal bases. Don't pay attention to him a whole lot, but he gets an extremely good jump. He gets almost like a running jump. Shoots with a strong throw to second base.
One ball, one strike to Soler, who has hit in 11 of his last 15 games. That's brought his average to 261. Yesterday, Chicago was 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position. Well, they've got a runner in scoring position here, and it's in the dirt, 3-1. On deck batter is Kristen Orfia. Good change up, and it's 3-2. Soler is listed at 6'4", 215. The 215 is rather conservative. He walked by us today when we were outside the dugout, and he looks larger than 6'4". And he got him with back-to-back changeups, and the side is retired. Well, the go-to pitch. Cole Hamels changeup. It's probably the best in baseball at times. And he's able to pick up a strikeout to wrap up the bottom of the first. The Cubs leave one in scoring position, just like the Phils, and we'll go to the second. Citizens Bank Park. Friday, July 31st, Pat Burrell will be inducted into the Phillies Wall of Fame. Saturday, the 1st of August, it's a Phillies alumni night. Tickets can be purchased for that 3-game series anytime right now by going to Phillies.com. Top of the second. Bright sunshiny afternoon. A little cloud cover earlier today, but the clouds have whipped away. And Carlos Ruiz takes a strike from Jake Arrieta. Current conditions 91. Ooh. Winds out of the southwest at 11 miles. It was hot down there. Outside 1-1. I was impressed that Murph was not as red as a lobster yesterday after the game.
Imagine he had a lot of sunblock on.
Only a half a bottle.
Your neck was burned pretty good yesterday.
Well, I'm currently hiding underneath the out here with the camera guy.
Where are you at?
Well, you can't see me.
I can.
And now you can.
Now I can. Yeah. Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
It's got to be even hotter though underneath there.
Nope. It's nice down here.
Outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. About 3 feet away from Murph is Andres Blanco talking to Cesar Hernandez about turns, getting the ball to second base. It looks like we see that a lot. Whitey doing those little teaching moments. He's got a great relationship with his fellow Latin players. He really has a great relationship with everybody. You just watched him sort of, yeah, see, they're kind of going over what he could do to get rid of it quicker. It looks like Cesar's saying, yeah, the ball jumped up on me. Carlos takes up and in, and it's 3-2.
Well, it's important to have those type of players. Whiting takes care of the Latinos, the infielders. Papelbon takes care of the bullpen. Frenchie, he takes care of everybody.
Yeah.
Coaches, media, fans.
Probably going to lead Andres to being a very good coach down the road if he chooses to. 3 balls, 2 strikes, and then Carlos takes outside, ball 4. 8-pitch at bat leads to a walk, and Arrieta doesn't walk a lot of guys. That's only the 29th walk of the season for him in 129 2/3 innings. Tonight on Comcast Sportsnet, check out a special encore edition of Bob with World Cup champion Carly Lloyd. Watch Breakfast on Broad in primetime tonight at 8 right here on Comcast Sportsnet. So here's Cody Ashe. Cody was talking today before the ball game about both of his extra base hits yesterday as he takes a fastball. It's 0-1. I said I thought that ball you hit late in the game was out off the bat. He said so did I. He said I got to stop hitting it right towards center field. I got to pull it a little bit more. He also did not go back to watch film as he bunts back toward the mound. Ruiz is going to be out at second with a good throw. They say that the bobble occurred on the exchange and the out was already recorded. So the putout goes 1-6. Anyway, Cody said he was not going to go back and watch the pitch where Lester thought he was punched out on before the 2-run double early in the game. He said he's going to he watched the double, but he didn't watch the pitch before that.
That's because you always watch something good.
Yeah.
Something positive.
He said he was convinced, though, that it wasn't a strike when it came across the plate. Here's Freddie Galvis with the runner at first. And he fouls it back to the net. 0-1. Well, this is the one we're talking about. He said he's convinced it was inside.
Well, the only way you're going to be able to tell is if you had a camera right over top of home plate looking straight down. Really. That's the only way you're going to determine, because it might have came around the inside corner. Am I sounding like a hitter right now?
Yes, you are, but that's kind of what he was saying. One ball, one strike to Galvis with the runner at first. I think Cody, by the way, on that bunt was trying to bunt it up the third base line because of the shift. Just didn't get there. Yep, get the top row, put an umbrella up, nobody's going to complain. Although if I were him, I would latch it onto the fence instead of holding it the whole time. That can get tiring after a while. So we get a miss. Galvis strikes out, 2 away. Second strikeout for Arrieta.
Both strikes so far have come off 96-mile-an-hour fastball right there, up out of the zone a little bit, and the one to a double was a 97 front door sinker.
Well, now Dominic Brown. We kind of talked about Dominic before the ball game today, hitting .229 with no homers and 8 RBIs. He said obviously they'd like to see more power out of Dominic Brown. He said, but you know, he is getting hits over the last several games. He said, so it's hard to try to change something. He said, but they've been waiting all year for the power numbers to kind of pick up. He said it is surprising that he does not have a home run here in the big leagues. He said, but he didn't hit many in the minors, which is true. He said that he is not a run scorer. He should be a run producer. Two pitches fouled back.
I would agree. I would agree that a little disappointing that he hasn't no home runs yet. We talked about baby steps, about the average of getting the average up slower. He's getting some knocks. Long conversation about a week ago, said he was trying way too hard when he came back up, trying to impress people, trying to impress too many people.
Hits that one sharply on one hop, but right at Rizzo. Side is retired. 3 unassisted. No runs, no hits, and 1 man left. We'll move to the bottom of the second inning. Phillies nothing, and the Cubs nothing. Philadelphia, and the only time beginning Tuesday, August 4th, it's the return of Jimmy Rollins, and on Thursday the 6th, it's our final Citizens Bank Business Person Special. Tickets can be purchased 24 hours a day, 7 days a week by going to Phillies.com. Well, you can see Lake Michigan in the backdrop there. There were a lot of boats that were out there today. It was actually kind of rough. The water looked rough as we were driving in. But it was a little cloudier. Now the sun is drenching the playing field. And there are going to be a lot of folks out on the beaches on Lake Michigan. Here's Chris Denorfia to lead it off, and he'll take a strike. 0-1. Denorfia had a pinch hit in yesterday's ball game, hitting .302. Breaking ball, and it's 0-2.
Last 4 pitches, 3 changeups and a curveball.
Kind of leads you to believe that he still doesn't have feel for his fastball just yet. There's the fastball. It's fouled away. 95 according to our gun here. Fastball and a call. Wow. Strike 3. I think he shocked him with that pitch.
I think he shocked him that he called it a strike.
Well, that too. What a way. Starlin Castro is coming up. Now let's check in with Greg Murphy. Murph?
Well, that certainly is good to see out of Cole Hamels, and that's what Bob McClure and Pete Buchanan are looking for out of Cole Hamels today. As you guys mentioned at the top of the show, he's had his share of troubles, has Cole Hamels, in the month of July, and it leads you to wonder why. What is going wrong for Cole Hamels? Well, with the help of our folks, friends at Bloomberg Sports, you take a look at his whip. That's, of course, walks and hits, innings pitched. Early in the season, 1.15, so just over 1 on average, 1 base runner per inning. But then you get into the month of July and he's averaging over 2 base runners per innings. It's partly because of walks, partly because of hits as well. And then you take a look at that other column. That is right-handed batters and what they've been able to do against his changeup. 419 against his changeup in the month of July. That compared to 237 for the rest of the season. So, Matt, you brought it up right at the beginning of the show. One of your keys to the game is that he's got to throw his cutter better because that's going to make his changeup better. It's just, it all works together, especially for a guy like Cole Hamels. He hasn't been very sharp in the month of July, but hoping to turn that around today.
Absolutely, Murph. And when you continue not being able to throw your cutter inside for a purpose, it can be a strike, it can be a get guys off the plate. All of a sudden, that home plate becomes a little bigger. Guys start looking inside as a right-handed hitter. Now, if you can't throw it in there for strikes or you're not throwing in there for a purpose, they start looking out over the plate, and that's the reason why the changeups have been getting hit.
Well, hopefully he has kind of figured some of that out. He did have a bullpen session as he normally does, and they were trying to work on some of those things. Throws a changeup there, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. He said, my track record speaks for itself. The last 2 starts have not been up to my standards. He said, sometimes you just pitch yourself into a rut, and that's essentially where I feel like I am right now.
What I've noticed different today with Cole Hamels is that everything is in slow motion now for him. His delivery, his turn of his body, his arm going forward, his approach towards the home plate, everything is in a lot slower motion.
Well, he gets 2 strikeouts in the inning. He threw a boatload of strikes in this inning against the Cubs offense. So he struck out the first batter and he strikes out the last batter. David Ross, 3 overall. We'll head to the 3rd here at Wrigley Field. Go to the fan section for all the information. Please submit your answer on the subject line. All right, Matt, who were the last 3 Cubs players elected to the Hall of Fame? Last 3 Cubs players elected to the Hall of Fame. Are you looking over at the flags?
Left field flag.
Yeah.
No, that's not it.
What about the right field flag?
No, they won't stop moving.
Cole Hamels will lead it off here in the 3rd, and Hamels swings at the first pitch. And it's 0-1. Hamels on the year hitting a .139, no homers, no RBIs. On the or just off the inside corner. Swing and a miss. Router back to the middle, and it's fielded easily by Arrieta. One away here in the 3rd. And back to the top of the order for Cesar Hernandez. All right, we have to make sure that we emphasize on this question, Matt, that the answer.
They go in as a Cub. They
have to go in as a Cub. Because you can look up at those flags, and there's some guys up there that you can pop on that list.
So Greg Maddux did not go in as a Cub.
He did not go in as a Cub. What, did he go in as a Brave? Check swing by Hernandez. They'll appeal. No swing, and it's 1 ball and no strikes. Cesar grounded out to shortstop his first time up. 5 of the 7 outs for Arrieta have been on the ground. So that's somebody that's pounding the strike zone.
With late movement.
Yep.
I mean, that last pitch to Cesar was a nasty 92-mile-an-hour cut slider, whatever you want to call it. There it is again.
He's got a little bit. He has better stuff, but he's got a little bit emotion-wise like David Buchanan, where he kind of rocks back a little bit before he comes forward.
I love his windup. It's simple.
It's very simple. Just a step and right at the knees.
Easy gas at 96.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Cesar. Cesar hitting .330 in his last 27 games. Swing and a miss. Strikeout number 3. So he's got a strikeout in each inning so far, which is kind of what we talked about. It's now time for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag #PhillyPhotoDataStrongFan. That's hashtag #PhillyPhotoDataStrongFan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. Brought to you by T-Mobile. So 2 away, and here's Odubel Herrera. A little bit of trouble with Arrieta his first at bat. Odubel slices one toward left field, and that's going to be out of the reach of DeNorfia. It's going to go to the corner, and Odubel's going to get to at least second. That's where he'll put the brakes on. So a 2-out double, his 21st of the year. They didn't try to do too much with that.
No, he didn't. It kind of surprised him that the ball actually stayed fair. Nice easy swing, foot down early. Right there, kind of shocked that it actually stayed fair.
So here's Franco. He doubled his first time up. Phillies have 2 hits today, and both are doubles. Just a bit outside with that first fastball, and it's 0-1. I should say 1-0. In the dirt. Good job by Ross. 2 balls, no strikes. Today's game is also available in Spanish. Just use the SAP button on your television or change the language through the menu on your cable box. Boys are back in Philadelphia calling today's game. Bill, Angel, and Will. Breaking ball, and it's 3-0. Like he worked around Maikel Franco there to walk his second batter of the game. I think he seems like he's more content to face Howard than he was Franco in that spot. Howard grounded out to second base his first time up, so he's 0 for 1. I think they're moving Addison Russell back a little bit. Off the glove of Ross back to the screen, so the runners will move up. So they scored that pass ball or wild pitch. It was upstairs. No, they're going to say pass ball. That is the 3rd pass ball for David Ross on the year. And now he'll go out and talk to Arietta.
Wait, this is okay. This is a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. Pass ball?
Pass ball.
I would love to see the guy that just scored that go in there and try to catch that ball at 96.
I don't think that's the answer, Matt. I don't know if that.
You're expecting a fastball down the zone at 96, knee high, and it is neck high or higher versus a hitter. Oh well, needless to say, second and third, put the ball in play, Ryan.
Yeah, let's get a base hit. See if he can drive in 2. It was coming in pretty quick.
96.
5 straight into the strike zone. That one's in the air to left center field. Fowler going back on it toward the track to the wall. It is gone! Just over the basket, an opposite field home run for Ryan Howard, and the Phillies have taken a 3-0 lead. It's the first home run allowed by Arrieta in more than 50 innings. 3-0 Phils.
Well, if you want to talk about a hanging curveball, as you see, the Philly fans are pretty excited, doing the happy dance. Hanging curveball out over the plate and absolutely crushes his hands back. We talked about how the hands are going back. Well, to me, it was the head down on the ball. Look at that, head down on the ball, point of contact. Strong man hitting that ball to left center like that for a 3-run home run.
Makes a winner of Matthew Moore of Wyomissing. He's just won $100 thanks to Ryan Howard in the McDonald's home run jackpot. It is career home run number 351 for Ryan Howard. That one's the opposite way by Ruiz. I don't think Soler's going to get it. He won't. That's going to be a fair ball, and it's going to skip along the wall and go to the corner. And Carlos Ruiz, it slowed up a little bit around first. It started picking it back up again and then stopped again at second base. So he's there with a 2-out double. I have it the way this inning's turned. All started with Odubel Herrera's double the opposite way.
Line to line, Tom. That's all it is about hitting line to line.
Hey, and you know what? This
Get
guy
a hanger and you bang it.
Well, and this guy has been tough to give up. Tough to give up extra base hits. And all 4 Phillies hits today have been extra base hits. Chris Bossio's going out to talk to the right-hander.
Well, with Ryan Howard, I know we talked about, Schmidt and I talked about, that's Mike Jack Schmidt. We talked about with Ryan Howard, his hands getting in a power position head down on the baseball and being able to stay on the ball a little longer. I mean, the home run you see right here, the hands are going back, the head's going down to the ball, and he's going through it, and that's why he's driving at the left center. Because it's not an easy win right now.
No. No, in fact, if the wind was blowing a little bit more, that would have been up the bleachers the opposite way.
Yesterday, you're probably looking at about 3 or 4 rows of going out.
Chopper right side. Ashe will be retired, and the Phils are retired here in the third. However, they take the early lead. A 3-run bomb off the bat of Ryan Howard. He goes the opposite way, and Cole Hamels has a lead. That's a breaking ball. He stayed with it, and he fought it right through the winds. The Phils lead at 3-0 as we go to the bottom of the third. At McDonald's with a double cheeseburger and small fry for just $2.50. McDonald's, I'm loving it. And buy Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. Shop Nissan.com. Phillies have 4 hits today. All 4 have been extra base hits. And all 4, Matt, have been
with 2 out,
including the 3-run home run by Ryan Howard. Jake Arrieta leads it off. Arrieta does have a home run this year for the Cubs. 8-9-1 for Chicago. It'll be Arrieta, and then Addison Russell, and then Dexter Fowler. Arrieta loses the bat. It hit a Vender. Vender walking up the stairs. He didn't even blink. They've gotten the back of a patron as well. They hit the back of that gentleman right there. He's got his arms crossed. And there was a beer vendor walking up the stairs. It hit him as well, and he didn't even blink. 1 ball, 1 strike. On the inside corner, 1-2. Boy, he's throwing a lot of changeups here this afternoon.
A lot. Very good ones, too.
Fastball swung out and missed, 95. That's 4 strikeouts for Hamels. We'll have to keep track of that. We've seen 196-mile-an-hour fastball today, but he's basically averaging 95 with his fastball.
Yeah, he's hit 95 probably 7 times so far. Honestly, I think his slowest 4-seam fastball has been 94. He's thrown a couple of nut cutters at 92, which has been his average on his fastball this year.
Well, now Addison Russell will be the batter. Check swing, foul ball, and it's 0-1. Luis Garcia outruns Elvis Araujo for that foul ball. Out in front of a changeup, 0-2. And a fastball just misses inside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. That's not a bad spot with that 0-2 pitch.
No, it's a good miss. It's fastball inside, opens up the fastball or the changeup or the curveball.
Well, there is the curveball, and Hamels off the mound quickly. 2 away. That was the number 9 hitter. So now top of the order, and it will be Dexter Fowler, who walked to start the bottom of the first. It's the only positive today for the Cubs.
Well, we talked about his delivery, how easy it is right here. You know, the turn is very nice. He's being able to get on top of his curveball, his changeup, his fastball, whatever it is, because the arm is being able to catch up to his body. Last couple starts, his lower half and his upper half have been so quick to home plate, his arm never catches up, but now it is, and that's why he's been top of the ball again.
So all the scouts who are watching here today, scouts from the Blue Jays, scouts from the Dodgers, his former Phil scout Dean DeSillis, who's charting right there. He's with the Toronto Blue Jays now. Former infielder with the Detroit Tigers during his professional career.
This lady right here is doing a scouting report as well.
Yep. She's got a new wave scouting report. She's punching everything into her iPhone. 2 balls, 1 strike to Fowler. Outside, 3-1. Over to shortstop. Big hop for Freddie Galvis. And an easy inning for Cole Hamels. He's only allowed 1 ball out of the infield so far through the first 3. That was a fly ball to left by Bryant. Nothing across for the Cubs. 8 in a row retired by Hamels. Actually, and their Jet Intelligent toner cartridges print up to 1/3 more pages. Get yours from who? But WB Mason today and experience the difference. Nobody beats WB on HP. Top of the 4th inning, the Phillies lead at 3-0 on a 3-run home run by Ryan Howard. And they'll send Freddie Galvis, Dominic Brown, Cole Hamels to the plate against Jake Arrieta. Freddie struck out his first time up. Shows bunt, offered at it, and it's 0-1. 2. Arrieta had gone 9 straight innings without allowing a run against the Phillies dating back to last year. He pitched a heck of a game against the Phils in 2014. 7 innings, 2 hits, 9 strikeouts that day. They have hit him though in past outings. You just have to look at his ERA to know that, and know the fact that he pitched a scoreless 7 innings last time out, because his earned run average is still over 5 against the Phils. As Galvis is retired, and a ground out to shortstop. 1 away. Dominic Brown's coming up. All right, Murph, what about the power numbers for Dominic Brown that Pete Mackanin talked about today?
Well, they're not very good, and that's what Pete Mackanin was talking about. You know, it was very interesting listening to him talk about Dom Brown, because he said, I don't want to say too much, because he doesn't want Dom to, completely change his approach, because he is getting base hits right now. He has 24 base hits so far this year after being called up in the middle of June. Just over 100 plate appearances at this point. The problem is that he has only 4 extra base hits, and all 4 of those have been doubles. And Pete said, look, we need Dom Brown not to be a run scorer, but to be a run producer, and that has not happened this year. Now, he likes the fact that he's getting on base. He likes the fact that he's getting his base hits, but he says ultimately if Dom Brown is going to be a corner outfielder in the big leagues, he's going to need to produce the way that he did a couple of years back when he had that big month of May when he was hitting home runs, and that's what they're looking for. So it's a fine, kind of a juggling act for Pete Mackanin, trying to get the appropriate amount of time for not only Dom Brown, but the other outfielders, the young outfielders that they're trying to get a good look at, and to see whether or not they have a guy that can produce runs, because at the end of the day, that's what Dom Brown has to be in order to be successful.
Yeah, he did say that he has followed the reports on Aaron Altair, who's done well in AAA. He hasn't watched them intently, but he does know what Aaron's been doing in AA and in AAA, and he said that he's obviously put up solid numbers. That one will leak through the left side of the infield. They were playing on a pull. So a base hit for Brown against that shift, and it's a 1-out single. Will bring Cole Hamels to the plate. Hamels grounded out to the pitcher his first time up. I think they'll ask him just to try to sacrifice here.
I would think so.
And he bunts to the right.
Nice bunt.
Sure was. Sacrifice successful. 2-4 on the putout, and a runner in scoring position. Tonight on Phillies Clubhouse, we'll get you ready for Pat Burrell's Wall of Fame night on July 31st with a look back at the Phillies' career that began as the #1 overall pick and ended with a parade with Elvis down Broad Street. Plus, see what all the buzz is about with outfield prospect Aaron Altair. Phillies Clubhouse presented by Mercedes-Benz tonight at 7:30 right here on Comcast Sportsnet. Cesar Hernandez, the batter now with a runner in scoring position. Swing and a miss, and it's 0-1.
So here's my thought process on D. Brown.
Yeah.
Give him a week. Put him in an area where he's going to be a guy who has an opportunity to drive in runs. So you put him in the middle of the order. Throw him out there for 7 straight games.
So do that one more time.
Yeah, he hasn't hit. He's hit 5th a couple times, but he hasn't had a chance to stay in the 5th, the 5 hole for 7
he's certainly
8
not
days.
in an RBI situation today.
Right. He's in an area where he is going to get pitched like an 8-hole hitter is going to get pitched to.
Right.
Very tough. If I walk him, I walk him. Hopefully he goes out of the strike zone. And look, I'm not defending the guy. I am on his side, though, because I still believe that the power numbers are there. It's just a matter of until he finds that power swing again.
Inside, and it's 2-2 to Cesar Hernandez.
It's just not fluke for a guy to go out there and have the incredible 5 or 6 weeks that he had to put up those type of numbers and never find it again.
It is odd. You're right.
It is. I mean, he's not going to be a six-week player.
Hernandez strikes out, and the side is retired. 4 strikeouts for Arrieta. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 man left in scoring position. Middle of the 4th. Phillies, thanks to a Ryan Howard home run, lead at 3-0. Your local dealer at ChevyDealer.com. And by Jefferson, where health is all we do. Call 1-800-JEF now or visit jefferson.edu. I think the wind has shifted a little bit more. It's still coming in. Didn't matter which way it was blowing before with Ryan Howard at the plate. Howard went the opposite way with a 3-run home run. Here's Chris Bryant. His fly ball to left field is the only out recorded in this game by an outfielder. As Cole Hamels will go to work. Hamels has retired 9 straight hitters since the walk to Fowler to begin the bottom of the 1st inning. That's how good he's been. The 1 pitch. Breaking ball, 0-2. Well, he's found something.
Well, I think what helps is that he's thrown 6 of 11. Out of 11 hitters, he's thrown 6 first pitch strikes. And out of those 6 pitches, 5 of them is changeups.
Swing and a miss. Strikeout number 5 for Hamels. 10 in a row retired by Cole.
You can see Chooch wants it down in the zone. He got it down the zone.
Anthony Rizzo reached on a fielder's choice his first time up. Change up.
Good location, 2-seamer inside, 95 miles an hour. The only thing he could do with that pitch is 1, hit it off his shin, or 2, hit it about 3/4 of a mile foul.
Let's see what he counters with here with the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. And that one's lined out toward right field. Dominic Brown hesitates for a moment but makes the catch. And there are 2 outs. And it'll bring Jorge Soler to the plate. All right, well, there you go. His average pitch speed, his four-seam fastball, 90 to 95. Soler struck out his first time up. He just threw one soft pitch after another to him. Just like right there. It's 0-1. Soler defected from Cuba and picked up his residency in Haiti and signed a 9-year contract with the Cubs. Just 22 years old. He defected in 2011. So at that time he had just turned 18. Curveball, and it's 1-2.
2011, isn't that when Ron Santos went into the Hall of Fame?
All right, so you got one. 9
years is outstanding. It's a great contract. Very talented player.
Dirt, and it's 3-2. He had 2 3-ball counts in the first inning. That's his 3rd overall or 4th overall.
Yeah, Fowler twice.
Well, that's something we wanted to keep an eye on too. The number of foul balls. There haven't been as many foul balls given up by Hamels, particularly when there's 2 strikes.
Right.
He's been able to put hitters away. Swing and a miss. He got him. He threw him a fastball, or excuse me, he threw him a changeup at 86 miles an hour. 6 strikeouts for Hamels. And the side is retired in order. 1, 2, 3 go the Cubs. It's the 2nd time today he's had at least 2 strikeouts in an inning, and we'll move to the 5th here in Chicago. Quiz answer. All right, Matt, here we go. Who were the last 3 Cubs players to be elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame?
Well, Ron Santo, Andre Dawson, and Ryan Sandberg.
Well, you got 2 of the 3.
So Sandberg was before.
Yeah, 05.
So someone was after him.
Yeah, Santo was 2012. Odubel swings at the first pitch, grounds it to the right side. Rizzo's got it, fires it to Arrieta in time. 1 away. Odubel thought he had gotten there, and Arrieta's foot was not on the bag. The last guy is Bruce Sutter, 2006.
I wouldn't have got that.
Log back out to Phillies.com to find out if you're the winner of a Phillies prize pack.
I'll take 2 for 3 any day.
Yeah, nice job. Flags help a little bit, but they're a little deceiving. Your guy's up on the flagpole in left field. Fergie. Michael takes a strike, 0-1. Tapper foul, 0-2. The 1-2 pitch to Franco. That one is scalded out toward left center field. It might put a hole in the brick wall. It's a one-hopper into the ivy, and it drops out after Fowler had said that it was in. Doesn't matter. It came out quick enough that Franco has to hold up at second. Second double of the game for Franco. Since we're talking about with all these extra base hits the Phillies have been hitting lately. Well, there's no problem with the ivy last time Ryan Howard was up. Ryan is bringing the lumber, brought to you by Yellowwood brand pressure treated pine.
That he is. He gets a curveball down the zone back in the 3rd inning. Runners on 2nd and 3rd, and hits that thing 2 rows deep for a huge bringing the lumber. Yellowwood.
Here's the other thing too. He did that after it looked like they were working around Michael Franco. Whether they were or not, who knows? But Arrieta wasn't close to the plate against Franco. Howard now with 17 home runs, 51 runs batted in, 351 for his career. That ties him with the great Dick Allen on the all-time list. Inside. Chris Bosio going out to talk to Arrieta. He's lost the strike zone again here.
With that, Tom, I think it's safe to say that the numbers you were given earlier about the doubles and the triples.
Yeah.
5 of the 6 base hits today, extra base hits.
Yeah, and 8 of the last 10 hits the Phillies have had for extra base hits. And it's all a good sign. I mean, you know, again, Phillies are still in last place in the division, but they've shown some signs of coming out of this malaise over the last handful of games.
Well, I like the at-bats they're putting together. They're getting at-bats. They're getting 2-out knocks. They're taking advantage of other teams' mistakes,
yeah,
which they didn't take earlier in the season. You know, and I don't mind the power numbers might not be there for home runs, but the doubles are building up, and that's how you start rallies.
Yeah, and triples, you know, with Revere and guys like that. I mean, Revere's among the leaders in triples anyway, right, so he's going to push that number up. But it's good. It does put pressure on the opposition.
Oh, it does. I mean, and these guys are getting in. The Phillies hitters are getting in a better hitters counts. You know, they're being patient. Ryan Howard had no he wasn't even thinking about swinging that 3-0 pitch. He was willing to take the walk and allow the person behind you to try to drive you and the guy in front of you.
Well, now here's Carlos Ruiz. Looks like the Cubs may think about a little bullpen action very shortly. Carlos has doubled today. He's also walked. Phillies have 6 hits. Time is called again. Arrieta wanted David Ross, but he couldn't get him to come out. He couldn't get his attention, so Carlos was just helping him out. It's a catcher helping a catcher right there, Matt.
Just a friendly game.
Yeah, people helping people. No balls, 1 strike to Ruiz. And Carlos fights one off foul over the Phillies dugout. Take a look at this. This is here we go. Carlos looking at Arrieta.
Oops, he wants you, dude.
Oh, it's so great.
Oh, yeah.
Down the way. Carlos lays off. It evens the count. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Seems safe to say the Phillies have gotten to Arrieta here. He does not have his best stuff.
Yeah, and it's nice to see that through about 4 1/3 innings. This is going to be pitch number 81.
Yeah, he doesn't look comfortable. I think about all the times that Carlos has asked for time in this at bat alone. Two pitch to Ruiz and a strike 3 call. Under the outside part of the plate. Arrieta has 5 strikeouts here today. And Cody Ashley's coming up. From our home to yours, a collection of Phillies recipes. The Phillies Wives Healthy Recipe book featuring 36 favorite tasty recipes from Phillies players and coaches. It's on sale now for $19.99 at the Majestic Clubhouse store. Phillies.com or by calling 877-GO-PHILS.
I'll be picking up a book when I get back to Philly. There's some pretty good recipes in there.
You think your macaroni and cheese would be in there?
Lobster mac and cheese.
Lobster mac and cheese?
I doubt it.
That'd be great. Cody Ashley is up with runners on first and second. Takes a breaking ball. It's 0-1. What did you think of the mac and cheese today up here in the lunchroom? Like
it was good.
Would have been better if there was lobster in it.
Believe it.
That one's a line drop caught by Rizzo. Hit well by Ashe. Side is retired.
And a little more butter.
No runs. One hit. Then 2 men left. Middle of the 5th. Phillies up 3-0 over the Cubs. 6 million people in the greater Philadelphia region. There's ample opportunity to help. Build houses, volunteer, or be a mentor. Visit citizensbank.com/community to learn more. At Citizens Bank, we want to help you bank better. So the next time you have a question about money, don't keep it to yourself. Ask a citizen. Bottom of the 5th inning, Phillies 3 and the Cubs nothing. Cole Hamels has gone through the first 4 innings without allowing a hit. He's only allowed 1 base runner, the walk to Dexter Fowler. Back in the first inning, he was erased on a fielder's choice. So since the walk, he's retired he's gotten 12 consecutive outs. 6 strikeouts overall. Chris Denorfia leads it off. A breaking ball, and it's 0-1. He's throwing everything he wants today. He's thrown less cutters than we expected today.
Yes, more curveballs, which I like to see because the league was hitting 127 versus his curveball.
Well, there's a cutter, and it's 0-2. Last time Hamels has gone this far without allowing a hit was when he had the combined no-hitter last year on Labor Day against the Braves.
Kind of ironic that day he was throwing 95, 96 as well.
But he was walking everybody.
True.
Today he's walked 1. He's got Denorfia, Castro, and Ross. He struck Denorfia out looking his first time up, and he shocked him with a fastball. Curved ball out to right field. Dominic Brown is there. And 1 out. Talk about foul balls and how important they are for Hamels to limit them. And it's this way for any pitcher. He's only had 4 foul balls today. I mean, that's huge. There have been games where he's had 4 foul balls to the first hitter. See the splits, they've been good. He has 11 swings and misses. And the speeds on his pitches. Castro takes low. Castro grounded out to third his first time up. He just tapped it. Balls, 1 strike to Castro. Cubs came into today's ball game out of the wild card. They were a half game up yesterday. They lost. The Giants won. The Giants are now a half game ahead of them. Pittsburgh and San Francisco have the wild card at this point. I mean, we're getting close to game number 100. It's still a long ways to go to look at it. Cubs are right behind them, and then the Mets are 3.5 out of the wild card. The 3-1 pitch to Castro. Swing and a miss. Cutter. 3-2. Or was that a 2-seamer?
2-seamer.
Yeah. Really had an action like a cutter, though. His 2-seamer runs down. The cutter runs left to right, I guess is the better way of putting it. Popped him up. Howard over toward the tarp. He's not going to have room. Maybe before they added those seats he might have had room. That a girl? Urgent phone call. Out to right field. Dominic Brown floats back. He's under it. Makes the catch. 2 outs. 2 outs here in the 5th inning. Time to check our photo of the day with Murph. Murph?
All right, thanks, Tom. Well, as promised earlier in the game, we have selected the Data Strong fan photo of the game. All you have to do is tweet your strongest fan photo to hashtag Philly Photo Data Strong Fan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. It's all brought to you by T-Mobile. Today's photo comes from PSU Mom 27. That's Mother's Day in the Hall of Fame Club, and she was looking for Mike Schmidt, and she had to settle for the next best thing in the large Hall of Fame photo of one of our broadcast partners, Mike Schmidt. So a great photo from PSU Mom 27. We'll continue to do this. That's all brought to you by T-Mobile. So make sure you send in your photos.
Out towards shallow center. Odubel Herrera tracks it down, so the no-hitter is intact for Cole Hamels. He's gone 5 innings without allowing a base hit. He's walked just one batter. We'll go to the 6th. The Phillies on top 3-0. Playing a big role for the Phillies in platoon and coming off the bench. Francoeur's arm is as strong as ever, helping the team defend from the outfield. Off the bench and pinch hitting, Jeff has embraced the job and delivered again and again, putting himself among the league leaders in pinch hits. Frenchie walked onto the Phillies roster this winter and is walking off with good memories during the season. And they're brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Well, he was the hero again in yesterday's ball game, Jeff Francoeur. Pete Buchanan said that he's going to have to start thinking about putting him back in the lineup against right-handers from time to time. We go to the top of the 6th inning. Freddie Galvis leads it off. It'll be the bottom third. Galvis, Brown, and Hamels. Galvis is 0 for 2 today against Arrieta. It's 0-1. He pours a fastball in the inside corner. Phillies scored 3 runs, a 3-run home run by Ryan Howard. Jason Mott was coming running in, charging, trying to get that foul ball before the security officer picked it up. Mr. Schroes, the bullpen coach. That's who he wanted to throw it at. Ooh, Freddie thought he got a piece of that one. 6 strikeouts for Arrieta. I don't know if he's going to get that ball back, Matt, to throw it at him. Here's Dominic Brown, who singled his last time up. He grounded out his first time. He's 1 for 2. Oh, and 2. Chopper foul toward Juan Samuel. And the count remains 1-2.
I think, Tom, I got a pretty good idea how to make something where we can make a lot of money off of.
Oh, good. That's always good.
Let's have an apparatus attached to your left hip or your right hip. And every time it starts to leak, it zaps you like a stun gun.
Would that be just for the normal population, or you mean for a hitter?
For a hitter.
1-2 pitch. And a swing and a miss. He went up and in and then got zapped while he did it. 7 strikeouts for Arrieta. Follow the Phillies wherever you are with MLB.com At Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At Bat is up to the moment at any moment with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, StatCast, and more. Get MLB.com At Bat for your smartphone or tablet.
You guys are laughing at me like it's not a good idea.
I think it's a great idea.
Just a reminder to keep your hip in there.
Yeah, what would you get if you didn't open your hip up?
You'd get a good swing because your hip would stay in there. Your upper body, your lower half would be good.
Hamill swings and misses that one. It's 0-1. Hamill strikes out, so Arrieta strikes out the side. 8 Ks today for Jake Arrieta. However, the Phils lead it 3-0 as we go to the bottom of the 6th. Of the Philadelphia Phillies by Budweiser, still brewed the hard way. This Bud's for you. And by Toyota, where will Toyota take you? Visit buyatoyota.com to find out. Toyota, let's go places. Well, Jake Arrieta's day is done as the wind is blowing in here at Wrigley Field. He'll watch as the Cubs will send up a pinch hitter. Cole Hamels, though, has been fantastic this afternoon. Heck of a bounce back considering his last 2 starts.
Well, it is. It's a great bounce back. It's a great day of controlling his changeup, being able to get his fastball in at 95, 96. A lot of swing and misses today. Not a lot of foul balls. Only allowed 5 foul balls the whole game. So today he had a very good game plan, knowing that he wants to throw off-speed pitches early and finish the hitters off with a good fastball.
Well, for Arrieta, he'll be lifted from this game with 94 pitches, Matt, and 8 strikeouts. He gave up the 3-run home run to Ryan Howard. Well, that's pretty much it. You take a look at the line for Cole. And as we begin the bottom of the 6th inning, Jonathan Herrera will lead it off as a pinch hitter. And he takes a fastball in the inside corner, 0-1. Herrera hitting .253. Is Travis Wood, former starting pitcher for the Cubs, warms up in the bullpen. .2 to Herrera. So his numbers as a pinch hitter. The Cubs only have a 4-man bench. They have 2 catchers on their bench, Schwarber and Teagarden. They have Chris Coughlin. Coughlin actually has good numbers against Hamels, even though it's lefty on lefty. high, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Budweiser. Budweiser still brewed the hard way. This Bud's for you. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And 3-2. On deck hitter is Addison Russell. Over the screen toward the second deck. Pinballing around. Hamels 71 pitches with nobody out here in the 6th inning. It's the best he's looked in quite a while. As he said, it was just in a rut. Well, he may have gotten himself out of that rut. Swing and a miss. He got him. Strikeout number 7 for Cole.
A little help there. Fastball up in the zone. Ball 4. When you get in that area where you're fouling some pitches off and you're battling 3 balls, 2 strikes, you have a tendency to open up your strike zone a little wider.
Well, now Russell has grounded back to the mound. A little tapper just to the left of it his first time up. Takes upstairs 1-0. You might hear the internal PA announcing the line on Jake Arrieta. Stadium opened in 1914. I think they bought the internal PA in 1915. I mean, that sounds old school, doesn't it, Matt?
Sounds like a horse racing going on.
It does sound like a horse race. 1 ball, 1 strike to Russell. Curveball waved at 1-2. Well, that's where his fastball has sat a lot today. 95 miles an hour with that one there. Has his signs, and he got him. Dug out by Ruiz. Strikeout number 8, and they're 2 gone here in the 6th inning. And Dexter Fowler will be the batter.
Nice easy delivery, and gets on top of the changeup. As a hitter, you think, okay, I have to protect, maybe fastball. Oh man, changeup. Nice pick by Ruiz.
Yep. Every time the Phillies pitchers retire, the opposition 1-2-3. Comcast will make a contribution to Phillies charities. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity, the official entertainment provider of the Philadelphia Phils. Hamels has done it 4 times today. 1 ball, no strikes to Fowler. Inside 2-0. Ball 4. So Fowler walks on 4 pitches. So the 2 base runners today have been 2 walks to Dexter Fowler. 1 in the 1st and 1 in the 6th inning. 17 straight retired by Hamels until that walk right there. He's seen 14 pitches. He's only swung once today.
One time he swung at either ground ball or shortstop.
Well, now you have to be careful with Chris Bryant, although you have a 3-0 lead. Bryant's evolving into one of the more dangerous hitters in the National League, but he will strike out a lot. 114 times this year. A little low, and it's 1-0. Carlos is recognizing that it's time to go out and chat with Cole. Inning that he's had so far. 18 pitches so far this inning. He had 15 in the first. Other than that, it's been a whole lot of heavy lifting for him. Runner goes and have that base stolen. Fowler slides in safely. He got a great jump. That's his 16th stolen base of the season. It was a strike to Bryant. 1 ball, 1 strike.
I mean, a lot of scouting reports, you know, that you can steal on Cole Hamels. Bottom line is, so what? You make your pitch, you're out of the inning.
Absolutely. You have a 3-run lead. Go get the batter. The ball is bounced right past the backside of Anthony Rizzo. It's 1-2. Got him. Struck him out with a 91-mile-an-hour cutter. 9 strikeouts for Hamels. He strikes out 3 here in the 6th inning. No runs, no hits. In fact, he hasn't allowed a hit today. And just 1 man left on base. He's walked just 2. Here are the strikeouts of the inning. Herrera goes after a high fastball. And then a great pick by Ruiz on Russell's at bat. And finally, he gets Bryant to wrap up the bottom of the 6th. Time now for your Delaware Valley Honda dealers game summary. The Phillies lead at 3-0 thanks to a home run by Ryan Howard back in the 3rd, his 17th of the year. Cole Hamels, though, is quickly becoming the storyline here today. 6 no-hit innings. The only 2 base runners, 2 walks to Dexter Fowler, 9 strikeouts through 6 innings for Cole. And as we go to the top of the 7th, Travis Wood will take over for Jake Arrieta, who struck out 8 over 6 innings for the Cubs. There's Cole trying to keep cool in the dugout. Really hard to keep cool in this dugout. There is no air basically circulating through there except for if there's a fan or something. I mean, there's nothing. Cesar Hernandez will lead it off against Travis Wood. 1 ball, 1 strike to him. See Wood's numbers. 27 games this year, 10 home runs allowed. He has started and relieved. Out toward left center, playable for Denorfia. And 1 out.
Travis Wood, the scouting report on him is he throws everything. Cut fastball, curveball, change, slider, knuckleball. Tops out at 91 miles an hour. You know, he ranges from 70 with his curveball to 91 with his fastball.
I mentioned he was a starting pitcher at one point and now relegated to the bullpen. He has traditionally given the Phils some trouble. Odubel Herrera is the hitter. He shows bunt, takes high, 1-0. Odubel's 1 for 3. He is struck out. He's doubled and scored. He's also grounded out. And it was his double that got things rolling against Arrieta in the third. Because then they worked around Franco, walked him, and it opened up the door for Howard to hit the home run. That one is hit foul toward us and onto the roof. And it's gone forever. Back to the screen, 1-2 to Herrera. Odubel fights it off to left. Denorfia into the shadows of the light stanchions makes the catch for the second out. The Phillies just honored a couple of days ago 2 more extraordinary scholars at Citizens Bank Park. And if you want to nominate an extraordinary scholar, they'll be accepted till the 3rd of August. Go to Phillies.com/scholar for more information. 2 winners will be selected in August and September to wrap up the season. You must have a 3.0 GPA or better to qualify. They're also going to ask you to write an essay, which I'm sure you can if you're an extraordinary scholar. Here's Maikel Franco, who has 2 doubles today and a walk. Takes on off the outside corner, 1-0. Cole Hamels doesn't seem to be bothered at all. The fact that he hasn't allowed a hit, because he's sitting there talking to Carlos Ruiz this entire half inning. The athletic trainers came over to make sure he was hydrated. 2 balls, no strikes to Franco. Way inside, 3-0.
Throw him a strike. 3-0, green light.
Oh, man. Oh, man. That's a swing right there.
Told you, 2-0, 3-0, 3-1 swings are for the fans. Grip it and rip it, but try to keep your balance.
He'll walk for the second time, so a 2-out walk, and Howard's coming up. I asked Maikel about that bunt yesterday and that outstanding play with David Ross. He goes, "Oh, was I surprised?" And I said, "Yeah, you look surprised." He said, "All I was thinking was, let me get there, let me get there, let me get there." And I informed him that, David Ross has 22 bunt hits. He goes, "Well, I won't be playing that far back." He's like, "The bases loaded, 2 outs." I said, "It almost worked." He said, "It did almost work." Ryan takes outside, 1-0. Here's that play we're talking about. David Ross, the batter.
Well, he was so far back, and not even a close play.
In the air to right center field. Towering shot. Fowler going back. So is Soler. Fowler is on the track, and he makes the catch. And the side is retired. No runs, no hits. 1 man left. That guy right there is going to lead it off when we come back in the bottom of the 7th. Ryan Howard. I'm sure he jumped up from his seat on that last ball that he hit out toward the track in right center field. Cole Hamels goes to work here in the bottom of the 7th inning. He has gone into the 7th inning 3 different times in his career with a no-hitter. So this will be number 4. You see what he done in his previous 2 starts. 6 1/3 combined, 14 earned runs. Well, Anthony Rizzo will lead things off here in the bottom of the 7th. Rizzo takes on the inside corner. It's 0-1. Last time Cole went into the 7th inning with a no-hitter was in June of 2010 against San Diego. Adrian Gonzalez broke it up with 2 outs with a home run. Tries to get it inside again, but it's a little too far, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Pitch count is comfortable, 87 right now, with 2 pitches thrown here in the 7th. And a foul ball, 1-2. Well, it's time now for our Coors Light Cold Hard Fact, brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. And Anthony Rizzo's OPS, on-base percentage and slugging percentage combined, at .913. That's really good.
Very good. Remember earlier in the day when I said the only thing you can do with that 2-seam inside is hit it a mile foul?
Yeah, or hit it off your foot.
And he just did.
Outside, and it's 2-2. Down the left field line, and that will be out of play. 90th pitch thrown by Hamels. His longest no-hit bid was 6 2/3. That was back in September of 2006 against the Astros of all teams. Phillies always have trouble against the Astros. Adam Everett broke it up with 2 outs in the 7th. Swing and a miss. He got him. He went fishing outside the strike zone. 10 strikeouts for Cole Hamels. And there's 1 out here in the 7th inning.
This is the pitch right here. It's kind of surprised you that he's throwing you a changeup. You've been battling with the fastball inside, a fastball away, a curveball earlier in his 2nd at bat. Now all of a sudden he comes up with a changeup, and it kind of surprises you because you don't expect to see a changeup from a left-hander.
Well, there's the distribution of outs, dominating with the 10 strikeouts. Jorge Soler is the hitter, and he takes a curveball outside, 1-0. Hamels is now 30 strikeouts shy of 2nd place all time in Phillies history. That's a spot held by Robin Roberts. Inside to Soler. 2 balls, 1 strike. 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th inning.
It's good location. 94 miles an hour right at the knees.
Soler's taking a stroll. He doesn't think that was a strike.
35,000 plus the umpire in the stands don't agree either.
Now the 2-2 pitch. Got him. Change up, down and away. Soler is strikeout victim number 11. Straight strikeouts for Hamels. Actually, since the walk, but 5 straight as far as outs go. He does not like the bat. Doesn't like it. It's got to hurt. Hot day like this, should probably cramp up that hammy.
Best contact he made all day.
Well, yeah.
3 strikeouts.
Here's Denarfia. He's 0 for 2. He struck out and flied out. Takes a curveball. It's 0-1. That's a get me over curve to start him off. Check swing. Did he go? Yes, he did, says Jerry Davis. The body did more than the bat did. And now the 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He got it with a changeup. It's the longest Cole Hamels has ever gone with a no-hitter. 7 no-hit innings. He's only allowed 2 base runners here this afternoon. He's hanging on to a 3-0 lead, and maybe a little history as we go to the 8th. Stores go further. Buy WB Mason. You can't go wrong when you buy right. And buy your Delaware Valley Honda dealers. Hurry to your local Del Valle Honda dealer. Visit DelValleHondaDealers.com today. So far in 2015, there have been 2 no-hitters, Chris Heston and Max Scherzer. Well, Cole Hamels has 7 no-hit innings here today, and he's part of our Hyundai defensive plays of the game, Matt.
Well, they brought all through with pitching. Rizzo, changeup, goes to down. Next hitter, changeup. Go break your bat first, and then gets up there, gets another changeup. So 3 strikeouts right down, 3 changeups. That's your defensive play brought to you by your local Hyundai dealership.
Carlos Ruiz greets James Russell with the ball up the middle. What a play by Addison Russell. He stayed on the bag. Rizzo did. 4-3 on the putout. One away here in the top of the 8th inning. Well, he just showed off a shortstop's arm.
That he did. Once again, unfortunately, it happens to a catcher. Off balance, strong throw. Good stretch by Rizzo at first base.
Cody Ashley takes high. James Russell pitched in yesterday's ball game for the Cubs. Ramirez is warming up for Chicago. At the knees, 1 ball, 1 strike. Russell's numbers 0-2, a 2.35 earned run average.
Can you believe that the scouting report on James Russell is identical to Travis Wood?
See, I would have thought he threw harder than Travis
All
Wood.
5 pitches are the same.
Yeah.
Fastball 91. Travis Wood 91.
There's Neil Ramirez in the bullpen. I've always liked James Russell. I thought he's been a pretty good left-handed pitcher. Quick swing by Ashe. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Off the end of the bat, back toward the middle, a base hit past Castro. So 1-out single for Cody Ashe. Freddie Galvis is coming up. Let's check in with Murph with the Major League Notebook. Murph.
All right, thanks, Tom. Brought to you by St. Joseph's University. And a rough season continues to disappoint in Boston as the Red Sox have announced they are placing Dustin Pedroia back on the disabled list. Second baseman suffered a right hamstring pull. It's something he's been dealing with. You'll remember he was on the DL earlier this season from late June into the All-Star break with that same hamstring injury. He was also in the middle of a 1-for-22 stint since being back off the DL. Says it's bothering him. They're putting him back on and hoping that the rest will get it right with him. The news is better for the Atlanta Braves as they welcome back their power back, Freddie Freeman, off the disabled list. He has been on there since the middle of June with that wrist injury, but he had 1 rehab game. He went 2 for 4, hit a home run. They said, hey, good enough. Freddie Freeman's coming back up to the Braves. I would imagine he'll be back in the starting lineup tonight when they take on the St. Louis Cardinals, guys.
All right, Murph, we appreciate it. I'm a little concerned. You're a little red out there, Murph. Are you really layering up, or are you just telling us you are?
No, I think it's just a reflection of my red shirt, to be honest with you.
Oh, really?
I'm okay. I'm all right.
All right.
I've been hiding.
Freddie Galvis is the count. 1 ball, no strikes with the runner at first base. And he hits it foul off to the right. 1 ball and 1 strike. Another foul ball to the right. This one down to the first level. 1 ball, 2 strikes. One and 2 as the runner leads off first. Little bloop out toward right field. Soler coming in, and it's not going to be caught. It's kicked around by Russell. That allows Ashe to go to third, and Galvis quickly to second. The throw gets away. 1 run is in. This may score 2. Galvis coming all the way home. The throw to the plate, not in time. He scores standing. And the Phillies lead is up to 5. It's a 5-0 ball game as the Cubs are throwing it all around the playing fields. I guess you have to score that a double. No RBI and an E3.
It's well, Texas legger Russell dives off his glove. Rizzo thinks he has a chance to throw Galvis out of second base. Lo and behold, no one stand at second base. Goes in the bullpen. He comes up, he fires the second base somewhat.
Through a cutter.
Nobody there. Goes in the bullpen and allows Freddie Galvis to score from.
That ball's hit well out toward right field, toward the well. Soler is there, and he makes the catch. 2 outs. And Cole Hamels will bat here in the top of the 8th inning. Fastball, and it's 0-1. Swing and a miss. No balls, 2 strikes. And a liner out toward left center field. That's going to split the gap and go all the way to the ivy. Hamels on his way to second. That's where he'll stop. He'll have a 2-out double. It's his first extra base hit of the year. Rockies have kind of opened things up here in the 8th inning. A 5-run lead. Here's Cesar Hernandez with a runner at second base. And Cesar lines one into left field. That'll be a base hit. Hamels will stop at third. And let's see if the Cubs make a change here. You got Odubel coming up, so you want the lefty to stay in, but they're hitting him around here. Might be a little bit rattled by that play, that little bloop by Freddie Galvis into right field. There's Ramirez, the right-hander. So Cole Hamels over at third base. Cesar Hernandez at first base. And Odubel Herrera is coming up.
Another game of double-digit hits for the Phillies.
Out toward left center field. Denorfia on the run. He'll get to a spot, makes the catch. Side is retired. Well, Odubel hits it hard. 2 runs score. Both runs are earned runs. Phillies lead 2. Cole Hamels back to work in the bottom of the 8th inning. With the Los Angeles Dodgers, it's the final Citizens Bank Business Person Special, and all fans will receive the Citizens Bank Pride of the Phillies print featuring the Phillies mural, free to all fans. Nemours Kids Run the Bases will take place after the game for fans 14 and under. Tickets can be purchased for the 3 games against the Dodgers by going to Phillies.com. Along with Matt Stairs and Greg Murphy, I'm Tom McCarthy. Cole Hamels taking his time after doubling his last time up at the plate. He was part of the last no-hitter. It was the combined no-hitter on Labor Day last year in Atlanta. He threw 6. Jake Diekman threw 1. Ken Giles 1. Jonathan Papelbon 1. This one's been a little more special, though. 12 strikeouts for Hamels here this afternoon. He's walked 2 batters. That's it. He walked Fowler twice to start the game, and then once in the 6th inning. He's had all of his pitches but it's been his fastball and his changeup that have been the best pitches here this afternoon.
Well, it has, and has also getting me over a curveball early in the count to get ahead, and then all of a sudden makes his changeup and his fastball even better.
Starlin Castro leads it off. Now, he did run the bases after the double in his last at bat. I don't know how much of a burden that was for him after throwing 99 pitches before the start of the 8th inning. Curveball, and it's 1-1. Castro is 0 for 2. He's grounded to third. He's also flied to right. At a play, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Any questions about Cole Hamels, I think, have been answered here today. Talked about his last 2 starts, 14 earned runs, 6 1/3 innings of work. Now, that's not an issue anymore. At least not today. 1-2 pitch. Fouled back again. Just above the screen in the press box. Fly ball right field. Dominic Brown's been a little busy recently. Comes running in to make the catch. Castro's retired, 1 away. And David Ross will be the batter. Now again, you got to keep in mind that Ross has 22 bunt hits during his career, and Franco knows that now. So Franco's still going to play back behind the bag. I know it's a no-no, Matt, but he still has to be aware of it.
It's a double no-no.
Ross is struck out. He's also flied to center. Breaking ball inside. Kyle Schwarber has come out of the on-deck circle for the Cubs. Pitcher spot is up after Ross. Ross was not in agreement with Phil Cuzzy, the home plate umpire.
Tommy's not supposed to be at the batter's box.
Somebody's got to get him back in there. 1-2. You didn't like the first one? I'm going to throw a second one.
Good pitches. Both of them.
You know, instead of the cutter today, that has been one of his better pitches, the curveball.
It does.
In the air to left center field. That ball's drilled. Herrera on the run toward the ivy, makes the catch, and then splash down. Kicks up a bunch of dust. 2 outs here in the 8th inning. Well, Dubel ran a long way. This ball looked good off the bat.
Yeah, and it looked even better because he was playing the opposite field. Makes a nice play and just eats the dust.
Looks like pig pen. So here's Schwarber to pinch hit. Hamels at 108 pitches. We said it's a short bench for the Cubs, so now they're down to 2 bench players. They play Schwarber to pull. Takes a strike. It's 0-1. That was the cutter, or a cutter, from Hamels. 86 miles an hour. His fastball is topped off at 96 today. It sat consistently around 95. 0-2. He has 12 strikeouts. His career high in strikeouts is 15. He did that back on April 21st, 2007. Hamels is ready, so Schwarber. Outside, try to creep a little bit more. And it's 1-2. You can sense that the fans are getting into this more and more with each passing pitch. It's been 50 years since the Cubs have been no-hit. Back toward the middle, flag down by Hamels. He'll flip to first, and the no-hitter is intact. 8 no-hit innings for Cole Hamels this afternoon. The Philly fans are coming to their feet. They're sensing something. He's 3 outs away from finishing off a no-hitter this afternoon at Wrigley Field. It's 5-0 Phillies. Yes, the strikeout's been a big deal, but Cole Hamels' defense on that final play was as well. Up the bottom of the 8th inning, so now he'll sit and wait and watch his offense go to work at the top of the 9th. He's allowed 2 base runners today, just 2 walks to Dexter Fowler, and that's it. So now as we go to the top of the 9th inning, you look at his line, 12 strikeouts, no hits, 8 innings, and here's that last out.
All those ground balls you take in spring training, the PFP, the pitcher's fielding practice, pays off in that situation right there. 1, throwing a strike, but 2, getting in a good fielding position to be able to make a play back up the middle.
Kyle Schwarber will come on to catch after pinch hitting for the Cubs, and Neil Ramirez will be the new pitcher. And Ramirez will face Maikel Franco as we go to the top of the 9th inning. 5-0 Phillies on top. They scored 3 on a 3-run home run by Ryan Howard. And they scored 2 on a throwing error by Anthony Rizzo. Franco has a couple of doubles today. First pitch is over. It's 0-1.
Neil Ramirez, 3-pitch pitcher, fastball, slider, and a cut fastball. So right-handers, look away.
That one's in there. It's 1-2. It'll be Franco, Howard, and Ruiz. 3, 4, and 5 for the Phillies. They're in the top of the 9th inning. Phillies have managed 10 hits here this afternoon. And have backed the pitching of Cole Hamels. Off the hands, a pop up on the right side. Rizzo is there, and he'll make the call on the catch. 1 away. And here's Ryan Howard. Howard has a 3-run home run today. Hit one out toward the track his last time up. They'll move Chris Bryant over to the right side. Bryant will go into shallow right field as an extra defender on the pull side.
They don't change the defense alignment. Like, they play it normal. We've seen teams where the third baseman will go way back in the grass. These guys, they don't play very deep in right field.
No, that's probably the shallowest that we've seen.
He's usually back in this area here. Then again, if you're back that far, you're right on top of the right fielder. So.
High fastball, 0-2. Well, here's our W.B. Mason delivery of the game. This is all Cole Hamels has needed here this afternoon so far.
Comes back in the third inning. Gets a curveball down in the zone. Gets it just far enough from left center for a big 3-run home run. W.B. Mason delivery of the game.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Howard with 1 out here in the top of the 9th. And a breaking ball just misses inside. Howard hits one out toward right center field. Soler going back on it toward the track, and it is a 1-hop over the screen, over the basket, I should say, and into the seats. So a ground rule double, 19th double of the year for Howard. So he's in scoring position. And Carlos Ruiz is coming up.
Ryan has swung the bat well today.
Oh, yeah.
Hitting the home run to left center. This at bat, driving it deep to right center. And yesterday, I know you don't live in the past, but yesterday he would have 3 home runs because the wind's blowing out. Today, that's cutting the wind to right center. His last at bat, he flew out almost in the same spot.
Fans are getting on the fan who got the ball in the ground rule double. For some reason, they wanted to throw it back. It's not a home run. Shouldn't throw it back. Carlos is up. Carlos takes inside. 1 ball and no strikes.
Welcome to Wrigley.
Yeah. Ground ball over to third, and Bryant has it. Looks Howard back to second. 2 outs. And Cody Ashley's coming up. Runner leads off second base with 2 outs. Breaking ball waved at 0-1. Ashley in this game is 1 for 4. He singled and scored in the 8th inning. He's also lined out to first. That was probably the sharpest ball that he's hit here today. No balls, 1 strike. Inside and low, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Now I see why the Rays for so many years were leading the league in shifts on the infield.
Yeah, now it's the Pirates who lead the league in shifts. But you're right. Ground ball into that shift. Russell to his right a few steps, throws out Ashe, and the side is retired. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 man left. Well, the Phils put 3 up in the 3rd, 2 in the 8th inning. The Cubs have nothing. No runs, no hits, and only 2 base runners this afternoon. Cole Hamels will go to work in the 9th inning looking for the 13th no-hitter in Philadelphia Phillies franchise history. Of course, his first, the longest he had gone without allowing a hit, was 6 2/3 before today. He's been relaxed this afternoon. His mechanics have been outstanding. His fastball has had life to it. It's topped out at 96 miles an hour, and he has struck out 12. And the Phillies fans who have come out to Chicago to see a very special place, Wrigley Field, are hoping they see something very special here this afternoon. The most games without being no-hit, the Cubs are at 7,920. It's been 50 years since Sandy Koufax no-hit the Chicago Cubs. That was the last time they've been no-hit. Well, the all-time no-hitters for the Phillies, we mentioned there have been 12, including the combined no-hitter in 2014. Roy Halladay had 2 in 2010. Of course, the perfect game against the Florida Marlins, and then the no-hitter in the National League Division Series. This is what Cole has done here this afternoon. The 12 strikeouts have been electric here this afternoon.
Well, they have. They've all come in different styles with a good fastball, 95. Good curveballs, very good changeups, fielding position very nicely. And really being in hot conditions, being very cool all day. You know, not putting too much pressure on himself. His energy today was all about pitching. He was on the mound, doing extremely well, throwing strikes, and mixing in unbelievable changeups after changeup. Either the first pitch or the 3rd pitch did not matter. And then Herrera made a nice play in left field and and then Hamels did a little PFP. Pitchers fielding practice.
Well, changes for the Phils as we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. Ben Revere will take over in left field. It'll be Addison Russell, Dexter Fowler, and Chris Bryant for the Cubs here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Cole Hamels started the game. The Phillies combined for the no-hitter on Labor Day last year. He went 6 innings. And the first pitch to Russell. Change up, waved at, 0-1. 111 pitches to start the inning for Cole. He's at 112 right now. Russell is 0 for 2. He's grounded back to the mound. He's also struck out. Curveball high, 1 ball, 1 strike. Tried another curveball, a check swing. They won't appeal, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike to Russell. Three and 1. Hamels wanted the extra day because he wanted the extra bullpen to work out some mechanical issues. It certainly has paid off here this afternoon. Foul back, it's 3 and 2. Nowhere near the number of foul balls he's used to, nowhere near the number of 3-ball counts he's been accustomed to in the last several starts. But he's got a 3-ball, 2-strike count here. Ground ball left side. Franco will cut it off. Hurries the throw. In time, 1 out. Little nervous energy for some of the Phillies fans still in the dripping sunshine over the first base dugout. Hamels during his career has pitched in some big-time moments. World Series MVP. Had a stellar 2008 postseason. You would think that something like this does not rattle somebody like Cole Hamels. Here's Dexter Fowler. Fowler cuts on the first one. It's 0-1.
That's only Fowler's second swing of the day.
Yep. He's walked twice. He's grounded out once. 0-2. Fastball still at 94. It still has electric life to it.
Yep.
Well, he's reached a new season high in pitches now with 121 as the count goes to 1-2. But at this point on a warm afternoon toward the end of July, his arm is as loose as it can be. Reminder, you got speed in Fowler too. And the infielders know that. They can't sit back on everything. The 1-2 pitch. And a called strike three right down the chute. Fowler goes down looking. 2 outs here in the 9th inning. Strikeout number 13 for Hamels.
Not really sure what Fowler's arguing about. This is probably the best pitch he has seen all day. It's a fastball right down the middle.
Right there. 1 out away from a no-hitter. There have been 2 no-nos this year. Chris Heston of the Giants against the Mets. Max Scherzer of the Nationals against the Pirates. Chris Bryant's the batter. He's 0 for 3 in the first pitch. Grounded foul. It's 0-1. $41,687 on their feet here at Wrigley Field. A third in sunshine, the rest in the shadows. And the 0-1 pitch, up high, 1 ball, 1 strike. $113 career wins for Cole Hamels. A handful of postseason wins. And he's 1 out away from his first ever no-hitter. Curveball waved at, 1-2. .543 Central Time on Saturday, July 25th. Hamels in the wind. The 1-2 pitch. Curveball outside. It's 2-2. Takes a little walk behind the mound. Takes a little breather. He's got his signs. Bryant is ready. And now the 2-2 pitch. In the dirt, 3-2. The man Jimmy Rollins, named Hollywood, is trying to write a beautiful script here this afternoon. The 3-2 pitch to Chris Bryant. In the air to center field. Herrera going back toward the wall. Does he have it? He reaches down. Did he make the catch? He made the catch! The 13th no-hitter in Philadelphia Phillies franchise history has a little bit of drama right at the end. Cole Hamels, he is back, and his teammates are mobbing him right around the pitcher's mounds.
Unbelievable.
A remarkable afternoon, a remarkable finish. An unbelievable feat by Cole Hamels. 129 pitches this afternoon. Odubel, Herrera. I don't know if they want to kick him or hug him. What a day here at Wrigley Field. A building that's a little more than 100 years old. The Cubs have not been no-hit in 50 years. But this afternoon, Cole Hamels, the lefty from Southern California, as cool as a cucumber on a 94-degree day, pitches the 13th no-hitter in Philadelphia Phillies history. What a game. Here's the final out. Chris Bryant really put a charge into this one.
He did. When it came off the bat, very hot, I thought, man, this is going to go off the ball. Herrera gets back, overruns it, and makes an unbelievable catch.
He had it all the way. At least that's how he felt. And a smile from Cole Hamels. It wasn't the first of the day, but it was probably the most relaxed of the day. You don't think his teammates or the Phillies fans were into this moment? There you go. Look at the reaction from the coaches.
That's awesome.